So very good morning to all. I, Dr. Repti Bangre, coordinator of BCom Computer Application, welcome you all in this e-seminar. Our department always strive to impart the various advanced knowledge about IT and finance sector to our students. And it will help the students to choose the right path in their career. We always try to make aware our students about the availability of their jobs and in their career so that they can update themselves and prepare themselves for the challenges ahead after graduations. So with this motto, today we organize this e-seminar that is career prospectus in IT sectors. Okay, so today we have with us Mr. Sukanta Ghosh and my faculty members and students. So I ensure you that today's seminar definitely benefited to you to choose the career path for their jobs. Okay, so it will be clear to you that in what sector you have to do the work or which sector is comfortable for you according to your um, area of interest. Okay, so I request Professor Amol Raut sir to give the brief introduction of today's guest. Over to sir.
Yeah, तुम्ही राहिला होत्या.
Thank you, madam. It is my pleasure to introduce our today's key speaker, Mr. Sukant Ghosh. Presently, he is working as software engineer at Philips Innovation, Bangalore. About his earlier experience, he has worked as software engineer at Oracle, Bangalore. Talking about his educational qualifications, he has completed his BCA from Devi Ahilya University, Indore, and his MCA pass out student NIT Surathkal, Karnataka. About his expertise in computer languages, he has learned latest software-based language like Python, Angular 7, JavaScript, ECMA script, RESTful web services, Agile methodology, SEO, and ASO. Now I could like to request Mr. Sukanto Ghosh to deliver his valuable words on today's topic, future aspects in IT, and enlighten to our student. Mr. Sukanto Ghosh.
Thank you, Amal. So thank you, ma'am, for the warm welcome. So, hold on, guys. Okay, I hope you guys are able to see me, right? Okay, good morning, everyone. I see a lot of people have joined in, almost around 60 people. Thank you for joining in, and I hope you all are taking good care of yourselves and given in this pandemic situation. Take care, guys. Take care of your loved ones, right? With this, so I got a opportunity to speak on some key aspects how actually software industries work, and what are the career paths that you can be dwelling into right after your graduation, right? So just I will be sharing my screen. Okay. Okay, you guys are able to see my screen, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's get started then. So the very heading says that what are the future prospects in IT? Okay, so before this, the agenda of today's session would be, I'll be telling a little bit about myself, right? That why you're listening to me, and a little bit on what I did, what are my journeys are. And then as suggested that we should be talking more about on the MCA aspect, right? Because after your graduation, that is BCom on computer application, you are eligible for appearing on the MCA exams, and you are eligible to do the MCA courses, right? So we'll be talking on that part. We'll be touching on those aspects. I'll be sharing my journey, how I actually cracked the topmost uh, entrance exams for MCA, and I'll be sharing some tips regarding that. And then we'll be moving on to how MCA is different from BTech CS, right? Because there's a question around our mind that uh, are the MCA graduates equivalent to BTech CS or not, whether they're given same amount of weightage or not. So we'll be talking on that a little bit. And then next we'll be moving to career options, that what actually career paths you can choose after doing MCA, right? And then we'll be moving and we'll be talking more about how actually a kind of a day in life of a software developer, a software engineer, what actually he does, what are his responsibilities that he would be dealing with along through his profession, right? And then for sure we'll be talking more about what are the most high-paying jobs in IT, what are high-paying jobs in software industries, right? And then we'll open a 10 to 15 minute session so that you could guys interact with me. I would give you a chance to talk to me. That would be a Q&A part. So during this entire session, I won't be accepting questions for given half an hour, let's say, but on every topic you could note down your questions, you could note down the points, right? And once we are over with the session, I'll give you 10 to 12 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes maybe, so that you could ask me such questions. I would love to answer those, right? So with this, I'll talk a little bit about myself. So what I did, so I am based out of Asansol in West Bengal, right? And currently I'm working with Philips. It's situated in Bangalore. I'm more into the R&D part, right? And currently my designation is software engineer 2. That's a senior software engineer. And before this, I have worked with Oracle. So Philips is now into a healthcare industry, but working with Oracle, it was completely on a financial sector. So our client used to be the banks, the tier one banks like Citibanks, like HSBCs, these banks, right? So I have worked in a financial sector as well as I'm working in a healthcare domain. So you could see that I have been working in both. I got a chance to work in both different domains, but with the same like into a software industry, right? So there is always an option that you could, being in the software industry, you could work in multiple domains, be it marketing, be it healthcare, be it e-commerce, right? So that's what it is. And before that, I did graduated from NIT Surathkal. So it is amongst the second NIT ranks, second in the country, right? So first comes NIT Trichy. So this is, I'm saying, not about bragging about myself, but just to give you an idea, just to give you an throw some light that if you land into these such colleges, you get a chance to work with the tech giants you get a chance to work with the leaders in this field, right? And so I did MCA from there, but before that I did my BCA from a it's a very common college, it's a very normal college, right, from Indore. So that's about me, and that's how my journey started, right? So I also did MCA, right? And I'll talk more about how the journey of MCA began. But what actually will intrigue you is, okay, you did MCA, then how did you get a chance to land into these tech giants, right? So when you get into the top NITs, right? When you get a chance to get into the top NITs, you get plethora of colleges, you get plethora of companies that visits your colleges, and you get a chance to work with those leaders, right? So that's how that's so if you see, there are two opportunities, right? One is when you directly do that is you graduate after your high schools, and then you appear for the IITs or the IEEEs, and you get a chance into the BTech. So I guess you guys are in BCom, computer application design, you're doing your graduation, so you miss those chance, but you are having one more chance to get, you have one more opportunity to get into those colleges again, right? So the opportunities, getting into colleges, I'll go to the next slide, is so these are the exams by which you get a chance to get into the top colleges which provide MCS, right? And along with this, you get a chance to sit in those companies where they provide actually good pay, and definitely the work is amazing, right? So there are list of few exams I have listed down. So which is NIMSET. NIMSET is an entrance which actually for the MCA candidates and for the all the NITs. So I guess there are 11 or 12 NITs. I'll be sharing a document, or maybe Amal sir can after this session can share the entire information about NIMSET, right? You could go through it, and you could actually think of appearing for these exams, right? And other than this NIMSET, there is Pune University, there is entrance for JNU, there is entrance for BHU, of course Maharashtra CET, Triple IT Hyderabad, and last but not least VIT and KIT. So VIT and KIT are not among the government colleges, they are among the private colleges, but yes, you get a chance. The placement rates are almost good, right? But you should all be aiming for the NIMSET, because if you prepare for NIMSET, you are covering all the exams for the other as well, because the syllabus or the type of exam NIMSET, on the level of difficulty that the NIMSET exam offers, it revolves similar around to the rest of these exams, right? So moving to the next slide, a little bit on the syllabus side, that what are the topics that you should put more focus on to. So that is mathematics. So mathematics is they conduct 10 and 12 maths, mostly that all it's a complete syllabus of class 12 or class 11, right? So it includes calculus, it includes differentiation, integration, all those subjects, and the maximum weightage in NIMSET is given for the mathematics, right? So again, Amal sir will be sharing the details of the entrance, that what amount of weightage mathematics has, what amount of weightage this logical reasoning has, what amount of weightage is computer awareness has. So NIMSET comprises marks of, I guess, 1000, right? So it's kind of a weightage based exam, but the more focus, if you have to crack this exam, you have to put more focus on the mathematics side, because that's what will help you crack this exam, right? Because it's has 50 questions, and 50 questions that is purely based on your 12 syllabus, right? And then it comes to logical reasoning. So the books which I would say that you could I would suggest for this exam is R.D. Sharma, right? So R.D. Sharma test papers, and there's a TMH, Tata McGraw-Hill. So there's one more test paper book which has test papers, and you get a feeling kind of same questions. You might get a chance that same as it is questions might flash up on those exams, right? So those are the two books which I would suggest, and put more focus on this section, mathematics section. It takes time, it takes dedication, it takes patience, right? But if you are dedicated and if you are determined, then you could definitely get a chance to crack this one, right? And then we'll come to logical reasoning and analytical ability. So analytical abilities, it is kind of more into the aptitude section and logical reasoning. So the book I would suggest is R.S. Agarwal. So you get to see this fat book, but so half of this is comprised of puzzles and the logical reasonings, and it involves all the topics that that NIMSET covers, right? And one more book for aptitude is R.S. Agarwal again, right? So you get to see this much thick book. I don't remember the entire book. I might be sharing those details with Amol sir after this session. He might be sharing with you again, right? And then basic questions on computer, right? So you do not need to prepare you. So your computer knowledge which you have through your graduation would help support you pass this test. And general English, right? So it's not much of a difficult one also. So computer awareness and in general English, you could actually prepare on the last month, right? It's not that tough, but definitely logical reasoning, aptitude part, and mathematics is a section where you should put your focus more, right? And discussing of this syllabus for NIMSET, it's quite similar to the other entrance exams I talked about before, right? You could Google and get more knowledge on what are the extra entrance exams that could that you could sit upon. I might have missed some of them, but I tried to list down the most important. But my suggestion would be you should always focus on NIMSET. So NIMSET helps you get into those top NITs, which are government colleges, and helps you get opportunity to sit for the interviews for the tech giants, right? Tech giants like Amazon, tech giants like Microsoft, tech giants like Dish or Goldman Sachs, right? Oracle. These companies do visit the top NITs, right? So I discussed about the syllabus, and this syllabus is quite similar to the other entrance exams, be it BHU, be it JNU, right? The topics are same. So if you prepare for NIMSET, you could cover all these. Okay. So let's talk how MCA is different from BTech CS, right? So in talking about my journey, my MCA curriculum covered 3 years course. It's a 3 years course, but the last semester, that is the 6 months, I was not in college. I was doing an internship with a company, right? So it's kind of 2.5 years for you, right? Like the 6th semester, you won't be spending in college. If you get an internship, you have to go to that company on site and you have to work for them, right? But in this situation, you get a chance to work you get a chance to work from home as well, right? So how different MCA is from BTech CS? So MCA is a 3 years course. BTech is definitely a 4 years course. But MCA is a postgraduate professional degree, whereas BTech is an undergraduate. So I agree that you have to spend 3 for your graduation and again 3 for your MCA, but you are at par than BTech CS, right? You get more respect, you get more recognition than the BTech guys, and definitely you get more pay than the BTech guys. I'm talking from my personal experience, right? For the same job profile, the companies provide more packages to the MCA rather than the BTech, because MCA is a postgraduate professional course, right? So it's kind of this. So BTech people gets into the same colleges after cracking the IITs, but whereas you get the same chance, the one amazing opportunity by cracking NIMSET and getting into those same colleges and sitting for those same placement criteria, as you have missed the opportunity in your class 12, after class 12, right? So that is what many of us don't know. That is why I'm here to kind of throw some light on that area, right? And pay wise, yes, I told you that MCA graduates are paid more than the BTech graduates, right? You could note some points on this. If you have questions, we'll take those questions later point of time, right? Okay, so coming to career prospects, what are the opportunities you get? What are the what kind of work you get after doing MCA? So the profiles they open up for a software engineer, software developer, right? Few companies hire as software engineers, few companies hire as software developers, but there's no difference in the work. They might so software industry is a very big domain, right? So I cannot cover the topics, right? The how they actually works, what are the topics, I cannot cover in one session. So it's in itself is a very big subject that we have to look into, right? And but I'll try my best to just cover up the basics on that, and how you and a notion idea that how you could relate yourself to that job, right? So next comes the software architect. So software engineer, software developer, they has some phases. Getting into a company, you get a chance for a junior software engineer, then moving to a senior, and then to an architect level, where you get a chance to design the architecture of that application, right? So for example, if you have to make the next Instagram or the next Facebook, how this application is based upon an architecture. So that architecture is basically taken care by the software architect, right? Then comes system analyst. Data analyst is a different domain, different profile. System analyst, they basically look into those, they do those analysis based upon the what kind of that application has to support on those systems, right? Kind of similar work to as a software engineer, you can say. Now next comes the data analyst or data scientist. So this is the new profiles which are opening from the last I would say 3 to 5 years, right? So people are moving more into the data field. So from the last 5 years, the dimension of software industry has changed a little bit. How it has changed, it's like when you get into a when you are getting into a software industry, let's say, so there's application development, there is web development, and then there is data engineering, data analysis, AI, and machine learning, right? So you have to choose which field of interest in which field of these career options intrigues you most, interests you most, and you could get a make choice that in which domain you could step into, be it application development or a web development. I mean to say, are you developing a application, let's say a Facebook application, a Gmail application, or a web application, the application which runs on a mobile devices, that is a mobile application development, and the application which runs on your browser, on your Chrome browser or Microsoft Edge browser, those are the web development applications. So these are different profiles. And then it comes that you get because Facebook has billions of data with them, right? How to get those data out and actually so I'll give you an example that you do this practice, right? You go to Google and you search for any product you like, right? Let's say you search for Puma shoes, and then the next, maybe from the next minute, if you open some other website, that Puma shoes ad get flashes upon you. So it constantly keeps you showing that Puma shoes because you have searched for that product. How this is happening? How they're actually showing the same product which you are looking for, how they're doing this. So this is all dealing with the data. So they are capturing your data based on those, they are doing marketing on your data itself, right? So how do you dealing with these billions of data? So that's how this data engineering came in, data analysts came in, data scientists came in, who deals upon this data, right? And this happens automatically, right? Some machine learning algorithm or some artificial intelligence working behind the scenes, behind the curtains, which is doing. And this is, trust me guys, this is going to disrupt the market in the coming 10 years, right? So this is not yet very much adapted by all firms, but definitely they have to move into this section, and this is going to disrupt the market, right? So this is a different domain, the machine learning AI. And again, there's a separate domain, that's a web development and application. But on a wider concept, on a wider picture, they are related to each other. How related to each other? Because using this data, they have to somehow show into this, push into this application, integrate with those applications only, right? So that's how they have to close workly with each other. So it's clear, right? Data analyst and data scientist, what kind of work they do. And then comes project manager, QA verification engineer, more, right? So these are the senior level options that you get after you spend 5-10 years in these domain. Then you move to, you get a chance to manage, the entire product. You become a product owner, right? So that's how are the prospects of the career. I hope it makes sense, right guys, right? So let's talk a little bit on what kind of responsibilities a software guy should look into in a day, right? So what are the responsibilities? So a very dumb question you could ask me that, okay, I became a software engineer for this company, and what are the responsibilities that I should have? Like, I should know, right? I'm a software engineer. Is it all day long I have to do code? I have to write code for the company, right? Or what are the responsibilities? So responsibilities are, whenever you get into industry, you have, maybe if it's not a product based, if it's a service based company, you have your clients that where you work for, right? So meeting those client requirements and understanding those client requirements is the first, most and foremost responsibility of a developer, right? And if there is application already deployed, that means, let's say a Gmail application is already deployed and you guys are using it, we all are using it, Gmail, right? But some bugs pops up. Let's say that refresh button of that Gmail doesn't work. Who has to fix that? The developer who working for Gmail has to fix that. So those are the kind of the fixing issues. And who has to test that the refresh button doesn't work? Who has to test that? The software tester. There's a testing team, right? So there's a quality assurance verification engineer for all products who have been working on these things, who have been working to test that product, that how to break it, right? How good is that product? So these kinds of responsibilities, fixing those issues and doing the testing, and of course maintaining systems once they are up and running. So you say that, okay, I have built a Instagram. Let's say we build the next Instagram and we deployed it. So is our responsibility ending up here? No. You have to support that application, because now, let's say today you have a customer base of, let's say 1 lakh, right? And within few months you hit a customer base of, let's say 1 billion. How your application definitely is going to break, because it's only able to support that 1 lakh customer base, right? So you have to scale that, you have to maintain that. So that kind of job, that kind of responsibility they has to support that application which has been already up and running, that has been deployed. And then it's designing technical aspects, OS software kind of, you say that what kind of platform my application would run, what kind of architecture I have used to build up on that application, right? And what kind of tech stack, what programming languages I have used. Is it based on Angular, which is a JavaScript framework? Is it based on React, which is a JavaScript framework? The backend which works on, is it based on Python? Is it based on Java? So those kind of information you have to document it, right, when you are working for a company. And then so there's multiple teams working. So if you see Instagram, if you see, let's say, Instagram, and Instagram has a very big team, right, but the application is very small. Now Facebook, it's a part of Facebook only, but let's say Instagram has its own team, right? So there are multiple teams working on multiple features of that Instagram. So that integration point, it's how to integrate all those features, same application, different teams comes under the same roof to work together, right? So that kind of integration of components of software is the responsibility for the developers. And of course, the very key aspect of a developer should be able to write codes. He should be program. He should write good programs, right? Optimized solutions for any problem and others. So these are the kind of responsibilities a software developer should have, right? I guess this makes sense. You could little bit relate to the profession we are talking about. The kind of jobs that you could picture yourself there, and you could actually relate to those responsibilities, right? How they actually work. Okay, there are the more career options after MCA. Let's say if you're not you could move into a network engineer, because if you see your syllabus only, you have database, right? Then you have let's say HTML, JavaScript. So HTML, JavaScript, or CSS, these are the front-end technologies. So if we talk about a typical web application, now a web application has three major aspects. One is the front end, one is the back end, the other one is the database, right? So front end is built upon a front end tech stack, which basically is HTML, JS, CSS, or maybe the latest tech stack, which is Angular, React, which is nothing but a framework based upon JavaScript, right? We could discuss more upon these topics separately in coming sessions if you guys show interest, and if I get other chance to come and talk to you again, definitely we could cover detail on these languages, how they work. Maybe I could cover some basics touch upon these things, right? And then come this is a kind of front end which you see, which things which gets loaded on your browser, right? So these things are the front end stack. And then when you, let's say, you fill up a form, you're making an Instagram account, you're making a Facebook account, you're giving your data to Facebook, and you go and click create account button. What happens then? So that data get passed from the front end to the back end, to the Facebook servers, and finally gets stored to the Facebook database, right? So these are the basic levels, you could say, that a typical web application works upon, right? So now if these things happens, definitely there would be front end developers working on the front end side, there would be back end developers working on the back end side, and there would be database engineers, maybe the database is based upon SQL or NoSQL, that is MongoDB or something, right? Or Postgres, or maybe Oracle DB, right? So tech stack differs, but the component wise, the architecture wise, how these things work is same, right? So that's how it works. So, and whenever these layers of a web application works, so there were different profession which comes into. So if you are on the database side, you purely could get into database and as a database engineer, right? As a database administrator, that's a DBA. Database maintenance, so that is one more profile, right? If you come into backend, there is a backend developers. Come in the front end as a front end developer. If you're working on both backend and front end, that's a full stack developer, right? And then comes network. All these talks upon the network, because we are talking over a network, right? So that's again a new profile which deals with the networks. That you have options to get into the network security. You could actually become an ethical hacker, which does hacks for the good, of that company. It's not a hacking that gets done to steal your money or steal your data. But ethical hackers are those who hacks your system, like who gets paid to hack the system to um, find out the loopholes, to find out those exposed areas of that application, right? So that is one more profile. And then there is cloud. Okay, so there's a buzzword moving around, that's everything is moving to the cloud, right? What is this cloud? So this cloud is nothing. So whenever for example I'm a bank A, right? And you guys are my customers, right? You come to me and you open up account. Now I have, being a bank A, I have here all those data, right? And these data are very much confidential. I cannot share this data because you trust me. You came to me to let's say to me, I'm being a bank A, and you have given me your money as well as your data, right? So I cannot move this data. Even though if I have to move this data to the cloud, means I'm not storing those data in the server which is being hosted in my room. Rather, I'm trying to, because doing this setup would cost me more, right? But moving this data to the cloud, someone else is hosting, moving this data to that cloud would cost me less, right? And then comes the security concerns, that how secured is your data. So all these things which are moving to the cloud is basically some companies who are providing cloud solutions, like Amazon, like AWS. They're providing like Microsoft Azure, like Oracle Cloud. Like these are the companies who provide cloud solutions. That means kind of a big cloud giant where I go and pay rent to them. Let's say being a bank, I go to Amazon and I say to AWS that I need a bit of your cloud space and I'm ready to pay this much per month, right? I'm paying you $100 and you give me this much space. I have with a complete security. So they takes care about. So I do not have to spend millions to do the setup in my home, to the setup in my on-premise. But banks doesn't move to cloud. I'm just giving an example. But marketing companies or the startups, how would they fuel themselves? So they use the basically cloud. So this is the new cloud buzzword that comes into picture, and this is, trust me guys, going to disrupt. It would be in the coming 10 years. Everyone is moving to the cloud. Everyone will be moving to the cloud. So this is a game changer. It's already has changed the game, right? And then whenever you comes about security, definitely there is network engineer who has to deal all with the security concerns and all with the network aspects, right? So I'm just touching upon these topics. This topic itself is a huge subject. You might be having your syllabus, all these database management system, right? If I'm not wrong, then you would have operating system. Then you'd be having a subject regarding to your network. If not in your BCom, then definitely in your MCA. All these subjects are covered into your entire semester. You get into those details in the core concepts of these profiles, and then only you could relate those subjects as your jobs, right? And you have business analysts. So business analysts are those people, those analysts who do analysis upon how the business is working, right? So they have to deal with the data as well. So many of my friends got placed as business analysts. Many of my friends have got placed as a cloud engineer as well, right? I talked about database engineer, I talked about network engineer, and then comes manual or automation tester. What kind of jobs is this? So when you get into a company, so there are two teams majorly. Widely there are two teams working. One is the development team and one is the testing team. So the development team actually builds that application, right? And the testing team tests those applications and tries to break apart that application, right? Because if that application has to get deployed on that maybe on the server, and the end user could use, before that, if they are not tested properly, it could break apart. Someone could hack into those systems, right? So that's why testing is one more job profile that you get an option to get into. And there's an ethical hacker, which I talked about. Quality assurance engineer, it's the same profile of a manual automation tester. That is a quality assurance or quality verification. These are same profiles. Then social media manager and technical writer. So these two things I listed down. Why? Because even though you are not into entirely coding, you did your MCA and you do not have an interest. It sounds very dumb that if you did MCA and if you don't want to code, right? Still there are options that you could be a good technical writer. You could read upon the new latest cutting edge technologies and you could write upon them, and that is a one more job profile that is being circulated over the market, right? And you could also be a social media manager. So digital marketing also relates with where you could do the ACO stuffs, where you could do the ASO stuffs, right? Where you could do the search engine optimization. So let's say I build my application, I build the Facebook, right? Now somehow I have to be number one on the Google. It means that whenever you type a keyword Facebook, that Facebook keyword should link to my Facebook application. How this is done? So this is done by this. You have to do a ACO stuff on your application on the Google search engine. So that's what a job profile is, that ACO expert, that is search engine optimization expert. Similar thing happens on your Google Play Store. So that's a ASO, that is a App Store optimization, right? So you do optimization of your application, of your mobile application, of your Android application on the Play Store or your iOS store. So that kind of option is also there, right? Okay. Pay is good. Okay, coming to this, why pay is good is these are the some companies I tried to list down, that what kind of companies you could think of after doing your MCA. You could get into these companies, right? And these are the giants. Like no one, because they are the leaders in the technical aspects. So Microsoft, Oracle, LinkedIn, Qualcomm, Microsoft is leading in all aspects. Samsung, right? Airtel is on the mobile communication sites, where Qualcomm is on the embedded systems side, right? Oracle is on the DB as well, the cloud side. LinkedIn is on the disrupting the journey of jobs to the HR. They are bringing up, trying to link a bridge between the job seekers and the employers and the HRs, right? So that kind of work LinkedIn does. And Google, you are definitely HSBC is on the banks. HSBC are basically the banks. They also hire. Visa is a company which works with the your debit cards, your credit cards, right? So you could actually see, why I'm saying is, you would actually see that software engineers or software developers are required on all domains. You name any domain, you have to get a software developer there, right? If you think of any domain, be it marketing, be it healthcare, be it e-commerce, be it mobile communication, right? Any domain, you are required to hire a software engineer, right? So, and they actually are paid on a very good scale. So I'm just talked about 6 lakhs to 45 lakhs as a entry level fresher, right? So that could range, but sky is the limit for the experienced one. You could deal in crores actually, right? I have seen people with such big packages, right? So sky is the limit, but do not get in the pay section. How do you get there is should be your main focus, right? So you should be, the very first step you should be doing is you would try to get into the top NITs by cracking those entrance exams. If not, you get a chance to do some certification courses, like you do get certified on Cisco network, right? You get certified on Oracle DB, right? Or else you get certified on Microsoft cloud. You get certified on Amazon Web Services cloud. So after, there is again an option that if you are not able to crack those exams, let's say, and you do not lose hope, you always get a chance to take the road across, right? You get do a certification and then you get a chance to get into those companies again. So the best option would be research. You have Google with you, you have internet with you, you have laptop with you, right? The best thing you could do is um, Google into those certifications, Google into those uh, get in touch with those experts who actually provide value and help you to get landed in those companies, right? I hope I was able to cover all aspects. I'll get back to the agenda. I'll just check upon that what I have missed. And I think it's not enough because we can talk the entire day on any topics. Like it's all those all those professions, because it's this session was just to help you see a wider picture, how a industry works, what are the different career aspects and how you could reach there, right? But to get into those, what are the coding skills you should have, like JavaScript, like Java, what and what kind of um, soft skills you should have. Like you should be very good at data structures, you should be very good at with algorithms, right? How to practice those. There is a separate discussions we could have on those later point of time if I get a chance to talk to you guys again, right? But I just tried to cover on a wider picture that how you could relate yourself, how you could take the path to those companies. So with this, I think I would be covering up. So okay, I guess it's makes sense. So should have one questions to me, whatever you're having, right? Okay. Anyone?
Students, do you have any questions to ask from the sir, to get an answer from the sir? Hello?
Yeah, feel free to question me, right? I'm here to answer you any kind of question if I know it, right? Just feel free. We could take this time to actually interact.
Students, do you have any questions about the session or your career or any courses or certification courses? Please ask. Okay, sir. Hello? I'm audible, sir?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay, sir. So I think student can get every and important information from you, sir.
Yeah, sure. You could connect to me on LinkedIn, or you could mail me around. You could drop me a hi there. I would be glad to reply on those, right?
Okay.
And whatever queries or questions comes to me, do not hesitate. You can ask me on that.
Okay,
Okay, it
thank you,
was
sir.
really a great session. Thanks all everyone for joining in, right? And thank you Amal, and thank you the entire team of GS College of Commerce Varda for inviting me in, right?
Okay. So I'm I go to conclusion for or would have thanks. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Professor Shailesh Janbandhu from Department of BCom Computer Application. I'm honored and lucky to have the opportunity to give a vote of thanks on this special day. On the behalf of GS College of Commerce, Wardha, and organizing team, it's my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks for this event. It's my immense pleasure to express sincere thanks to our special guest of today's program, Mr. Sukhantu Ghosh, for giving an excellent coverage on future prospectus in IT. A big thank you, sir. We are also grateful to Shiksha Mandal for providing us online platform and valuable support. Thank you very much. I would like to express my gratitude towards backbone of our college, that is Principal Dr. Sahibrao Chauhan sir, for motivate us conduct such nice, innovative, valuable program. Sir, you both always inspire us. You always be there for us. Thank you so much, sir. I would like to acknowledge my gratitude to IQAC coordinator, Mr. Parikshit Agrawal sir, for his valuable support. Thank you, sir. I would like to express my big thanks to all the members of organizing committee, that is Professor Amol Raut sir, Professor Shailesh Janbandhu, Professor Shripad Dikshit, Professor Harsha Gangavane ma'am, and our coordinator, Dr. Revati Bangre, and teaching and non-teaching staff member of the college for their support. I would like to humble thank to all the students for actively participate in this event. Finally, last but not least, thank you all who were involved in this program directly and indirectly. Thank you all. Now I declare that this program is over here. Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye-bye, guys. Bye, sir.
Bye.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Good day, sir.